Oh, hail to the chief. I got lots of presidential trivia and better time of the year than President's Day in February. So there's 46 of these guys. So what I'm going to do is break it down. Okay, I'm going to do a two-part series. For this one, I have got my founding fathers tie, and it's a looks like it's a. I was reading some of this fine script, and it looks like it's a cross between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and Poor Richard's Almanac and maybe a little bit of the Whiskey Rebellion. So if you're a history buff, you'll like this one. So what I'm going to do is there are tons and tons and tons of weird, wacky, and wild trivia facts on our presidents that we've had. And I'm only going to do one for each of them, break it down into two parts. So here we go with number one, George Washington, who some say wasn't actually our first president. You can look up that too. George Washington's false teeth were made from elephant and walrus tusks, gold, and ivory, not wood. How about that? How about that? John Adams, the second president, was the first to live in the White House. Let's see here. Tommy T.J. Jefferson founded the University of Virginia. This is true. And if you want to go under Tom Jefferson trivia, there's stuff from everything from the $2 bill to the nickel and Monticello and everything like that. There's wonderful stuff. Number four, James Madison was the shortest president, clocking in at 5'4" tall. And next, the fifth president of the United States, James Monroe. Not to get these two mixed up here, James Monroe was the last founding father to serve as president. How do you like that? Very cool. John Quincy Adams, this would be the son of the second president, John Adams. The sixth president, John Quincy Adams, used to skinny dip in the Potomac River every morning. And I actually have to tell you a story I read in this one time. There was a female reporter, which was kind of unheard of way back then. And she kept asking, and pestering President John Quincy Adams for an interview. He would never give her this interview. So one day, as the story goes, he was doing his daily skinny dip in the Potomac. And I don't know what Secret Service was like back then, but this reporter, female reporter, snuck down to the banks on the coast of the the Potomac, grabs all of President Quincy Adams' clothes, runs and hides, puts him in a bush, and guess what she got from him? She got that interview. I love it. Andrew Jackson, remember him, Old Hickory? He is on the $20 bill, that guy. This is the seventh president. Andrew Jackson had a pet parrot he taught to curse. That's probably one of the nicest bits of trivia on President Jackson. That's funny, though. Martin Van Buren, number 8, coined the word okay. And I know this because I'm a big history buff. I actually had a cartoon online that I did years ago called History Bluffs. But Martin Van Buren coined the word okay. Let me give you he was from Kinderhook, New York. And his nickname was Old Kinderhook, okay. And what happened was whenever he'd get all these papers and documents for his approval, he would just stamp it or signature sign it. How about that? Okay. Old Kinderhook, okay. That's where we get the term okay. William Henry Harrison, who was the only president that we had with he had the longest inauguration speech, but the shortest served the shortest term. He shouldn't have spoke so long because it was pouring down rain apparently at the inauguration. He caught pneumonia and was in office only for a month. But Tippecanoe and Tyler too. That's William Henry Harrison had a pet goat. Number 10, John Tyler had 15 children. This is, I guess, before they had TVs. Just joking. Number 11, James K. Polk was the first president to serve coast to coast. Oh, that's really interesting. Number 12, Zachary Taylor's nickname was Old Rough and Ready. He had a weird way of dying. I think he had food poisoning, if I'm not mistaken. Number 13, Millard Fillmore married his teacher. Franklin Pierce. Yeah, do you remember from MASH, Hawkeye, Franklin Pierce? Yeah, that he was a president. Franklin Pierce was arrested during his presidency for running over a woman with his horse. Ooh, that's one that might pop up in if you're ever on a game show. Number 15, this guy was from Pennsylvania, born in Pennsylvania. James Buchanan was a bachelor and never married. Actually, if I remember correctly, his niece served as the first lady. One of the worst presidents in the history of USA, James Buchanan, followed by probably one of the best, Abraham Lincoln at number 16, is honored in the Wrestling Hall of Fame and was also a bartender. With everything that Abe ever did and went through, those two are priceless. And after that, before Abe and after Abe, two presidents, Andrew Johnson, he was buried and wrapped in the American flag with a copy of the Constitution. I never knew that. That's wild. Number 18, Ulysses S. Grant, old U.S. Grant, one of our Civil War generals. One of the dumbest presidents I do remember. Lowest IQ, I think. He was given a ticket for riding his horse too fast. I can see them pulling him over. Rutherford B. Hayes was the first president to use a telephone, and his number was 1. Number one. James A. Garfield could write with both hands at the same time in different languages. This I remember. One hand he could write Greek, and the other hand he could write Latin. Isn't that amazing? Let's see here. We're coming down to the end of part 1 here because we're going to end with our good old boy here coming in soon here. But number 21, Chester A. Arthur owned 80 pair of pants. Wow. And Grover Cleveland was the first and only president to be married in the White House. And number 23, Benjamin Harrison. This is William Henry Harrison. Remember the guy who said caught pneumonia for the longest inauguration but shortest term? Benjamin Harrison, his grandson, never touched light switches because he was afraid he would be electrocuted. But remember, this is back in the early days of... Yeah. Okay, and how about this? Number 24, and we're going to end here. Number 24, Grover Cleveland back again. He's the only president. It was Grover at 22, then Benjamin Harrison came in at 23. Grover Cleveland's back, is the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, making him the 22nd and 24th president. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll be back with part 2 with a different patriotic tie. I should probably do this.